Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for joining us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. Arthritis is a common debilitating condition which causes pain and stiffness, making regular tasks difficult to execute. Major types are osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. In 2019, according to the World Health Organization, about 528 million people worldwide were living with osteoarthritis, an increase of 113% since 1990. About 73% of people living with osteoarthritis are over 55 years, most of them women. In the same period, 18 million people worldwide were living with rheumatoid arthritis. Again, about 70% of them women. My guest is Ephraim Chukwuemeka, Assistant Director of Physiotherapy Services and Chairman, Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy in Federal Medical Center, Asaba. He joins us from our studio in Benin. You're welcome to the show. Hello, Ephraim. All right there. Okay. You need to unmute. You need to unmute, Ephraim. Can you speak up again? All right, while he's doing that, let's just go straight to our first question. We are aware that pain and stiffness are some symptoms of arthritis. Are there other symptoms we should be aware about? Hello, Ephraim. We need to unmute. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be back very soon with our guest speaking out and you hear it. Welcome back. So we were talking about arthritis and physiotherapy management. Also with me in the studio, in the Lagos studio, is Deputy Director of Physiotherapy Services at the National Orthopedic Hospital, Igbobi. She is Temilola Abolarin. Let me direct the question to you, which we spoke of, which is pain and stiffness. We already know are symptoms of arthritis. Should we be aware of some other symptoms?
Oh, yes, there are some other symptoms. Swelling is one of them. Redness is one of them. Swelling, pain, stiffness.
And redness.
And redness.
And this redness shows in black people?
Warmth, majorly in black people.
Okay, that warmth part will be a bit warmer.
Yes, it will be warmer.
What parts of the body does arthritis affect?
Arthritis affects the joints.
Okay.
And there are so many joints in the body, from the neck down to the foot. We have joints even in the toes. We have joints in the fingers. Anywhere we have two bones meeting is a joint.
Okay. I know we did some biology, and they talk about tarsals and metatarsals in the feet.
Yes.
So you can have arthritis of the feet?
Definitely.
That should be terrible. It will hamper walking.
It does.
All right. So
as we also have arthritis in the fingers.
In the fingers, yes. Okay. Like that one we are quite used to. When people have arthritis in the fingers, is that what causes the fingers to look crooked?
Yes, that's sometimes, majorly, that is what happens. After arthritis has been on for a while, it can lead to deformity. So that crookedness you are talking about, we call it deformity of the joint.
So it's a long-standing arthritis that will cause
long-standing arthritis.
Apart, I spoke of osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Are there other types of arthritis you come in contact with?
Yes. We have the juvenile idiopathic arthritis.
Okay, let's just camp there for a moment. Okay. Juvenile, which means it happens to children.
Children.
I wanted to ask about children. I have never heard of a child having arthritis. How does that happen?
Children do have arthritis. Juvenile idiopathic arthritis attacks children from age 2 to 4, and then jumps, and then starts at age 6 to 16 as well.
Do they experience these pain, swelling, redness, and all that?
All the symptoms. They experience all the symptoms.
I'm just imagining a 4-year-old in school with arthritis. Do the teachers know that there's a condition like this? Can they recognize it? Because more often than not, people get harsh with children when they don't understand what is happening to them. How common is this?
Well, it's not, it's common. It's common, really. It's just that many people give it up for some other things. And it's usually associated with fevers, joint pain, swelling, especially when it affects the limbs. The child will be limping and would not want to walk. One type of it is irritable joints. And usually there are some things that trigger it, but the trigger is unknown.
Okay, so is it sometimes a case of what you call an autoimmune disease, like the body is attacking itself or something like that?
Rheumatoid arthritis is classified autoimmune disease.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it's classified autoimmune disease. Juvenile idiopathic arthritis, when something is idiopathic, the cause is unknown.
Okay. So there's one type of arthritis that keeps popping up. It's called axial spondyloarthritis, something like that. What is that?
That is, well, that actually affects people from teenage to early 20s.
Okay, so there's an arthritis for just about every age.
There is. There is. Osteoarthritis is commoner with people that are older. Old age is associated with old age. Rheumatoid arthritis starts from 40, between 40 and 60. Axial spondylotic arthritis starts from teenage.
All right.
And then we have juvenile idiopathic arthritis for children.
Okay, so let's come to the physiotherapy part where you come into contact with these people. Is physiotherapy the same as exercise?
Physiotherapy is much more than exercise.
In what way?
Exercise is a means of treatment in physiotherapy.
Oh, okay. A means of treatment in physiotherapy.
Yes, just
which
one.
means that there are other means of treatment
Several
in
means
physiotherapy.
of treatment.
All right, this is getting interesting. Can excessive exercise cause arthritis?
Excessive exercise, how
Because I do see some people, okay, they've not had exercise for some time. Then they said, today is the day we've got to start this thing. Then they overdo it and they come down, one hip is hurting, one ankle is hurting, and all that. That's why I'm asking this question.
That's what we call excessive exercise. That's what we call weekend warriors. For people who just wake up suddenly and want to do exercise, probably majorly for fitness. Mm-hmm. And, when the body is not used to anything for that matter, there is a process, there is a time of acclimatization.
You have to warm up.
Yes, you have to warm up. Everything has its rules and regulation, even exercise. You can't just wake up one day and decide to do exercise. So if you just take on exercise, one, you need to get the professionals involved. And if you are going to do anything, like we have over-the-counter drugs, we have over-the-counter exercises too. Some exercises that are very safe for anybody to engage in. And it has to be low-intensity exercise. Low intensity.
So let me ask, when you get a patient with some sort of arthritis, do you have the hope that some of these problems can be resolved? I don't mean that the person will be living with it, but that he can get rid of it altogether. Is it possible that I had arthritis 2 years ago, now I don't have anymore?
It's possible. It's possible. With juvenile idiopathic arthritis, for instance, it wears out.
Okay.
It wears out. And then with rheumatoid arthritis, it's an autoimmune disease. It's not something anybody can regulate. So they live with it and they are managed on their medications and exercises all through.
Okay, they live with it, they are managed. Can they move without a problem?
Yes, they can.
Can they live pain-free?
They can.
Okay, so does somebody have to wait until arthritis sets in? Or can they have a kind of prevention regimen that will ensure that they don't ever come down with that condition?
Well, I would not say yes, and I wouldn't say no. I will still go back to rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease. It's the body's immune system fighting the body. So it's like the soldier turning in to become a threat to its home. That nobody can do anything about, but the symptoms can be managed. Then when it comes to juvenile idiopathic arthritis, the cause is unknown. The triggers are unknown. But if it is caught early, then the symptoms are managed.
Okay.
And the patient can live well until it wears out. With axial spondylotic arthritis, the same thing. The only thing with axial spondylotic arthritis is that if it is not quickly managed, it can leave lasting damage. Can lead lasting damage, which the patient may have to go along with.
What does this damage look like?
Damage to the joints. The cartilage may be worn out. If the cartilage is worn out during the course of the inflammation, there's no replacement for it unless the patient has surgery.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Arthritis, at least osteoarthritis, has something to do with fluid
Yes.
being reduced at the joints. Now, when somebody comes down with arthritis, do you have to work with other disciplines to bring this person to the best fit? Is there something that they do to help this fluid that is supposed to be between the joints? Do you work with such a person or such people?
The management of arthritis from the onset is a multidisciplinary management. Everybody is involved. The doctor is involved, the nurse is involved, the pharmacist is involved, the physiotherapist is involved, the occupational therapist is involved.
Okay. We're going to still come back to that, but we need to take a short break. Please stay with us. We're going on a short break. See you on the other side. Welcome back. This is Health Matters on Channels Television, and we are talking about arthritis and physiotherapy management. With me in the studio is Temilola Abolorin, a physiotherapist, and we're getting on with it. We were talking about other disciplines coming in to manage.
Yes.
Okay, so you have, let's say you have a range of patients with arthritis. Are there some that don't come to you, don't have to come to you, that they end their journey with maybe the doctor?
Every patient with arthritis needs physiotherapy.
Okay.
Every patient. I work in an orthopedic hospital, so 99.9% of patients that come in there have need for physiotherapy, and we manage arthritis in National Orthopedic Hospital. So every patient, whether on outpatient basis or on inpatient basis, would need physiotherapy.
Okay, let's take an older patient.
Okay.
Let's say an older patient comes down with such a thing. Is it possible with the doctor to get that patient back on his feet without any signs of arthritis, without any deformity, operating just like he was operating before the incident happened, or before the series of incidents that caused it?
It's very possible if the patient presents early enough.
That means we're not really having the optimal for people with arthritis in Nigeria.
How do you mean?
You see older people, with a crotchety walk, they are limping, they're using canes, they're in pain, and they're complaining of this pain in just about every joint of their body. So is it that people are not coming early enough, or they don't know, or doctors are not referring them?
Well, for the case in Nigeria, a patient has to present in the hospital for a doctor to see. If the patient doesn't present, the doctor cannot see. The only other way by which we can get to people is by public awareness and education, like what we're doing now.
Okay, so tell us something about the other things besides exercise that physiotherapy consists of.
Okay, we have thermotherapy, for instance, heat therapy. There's cold therapy. There is manual manipulation.
Okay.
There's electrotherapy.
Manual manipulation?
Yes. There's
okay.
Electrotherapy as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Let's quickly bring in Mr. Ephraim Chukwuemeka, who is in Benin. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we know that people with arthritis are usually older adults, and sometimes older adults fall down and bones can break. I want to know, if a bone is set, does such a person go through physiotherapy, or does that particular part have to be left alone? Since the bone was broken and it was set, does physiotherapy now come in that case?
Yeah, definitely. Physiotherapists are part of the healthcare team that will manage such a scenario. Because after reduction of the bone by the orthopedic surgeon, the patient is still not able to move. The patient is still not able to go back to regular daily activities. And so the physiotherapist will come in, and most times, even before surgeries are done, the physiotherapist needs to start to work on the muscles and strengthen the muscles. And so after the fall and reduction or surgery has been done, physiotherapy comes in to help to build those muscles, to improve the range of motion, and to strengthen the muscles, and eventually to help the patient to integrate back to normal activities of daily living. So physiotherapy is a very vital part of the rehabilitation process, which is needed for such scenario.
Okay, it's great to know that there can be rehabilitation, but I want to ask, before we even get to rehabilitation, because you make it sound like it's so important to have physiotherapy and it can actually make the problem disappear. Are we supposed to see our physiotherapist before ever getting any arthritis and work with him maybe the way we work with our dentist, the way we work with our optometrist, and see every few years, like that?
Yeah, it's recommended that we see the physiotherapist for a physical check. Physiotherapists are equipped to do fitness check, and fitness check is not just the medical aspect now, but looking at the bones, looking at the muscles and how strong they are. So such regular checks are very necessary, especially for people who are 50 years and above. And the essence of doing that is to be able to help identify certain risk factors or certain problems that may arise later. And like arthritis that we are talking about, of course, some of the risk factors for arthritis is repetitive joint injury that can happen from sporting activities or even physical inactivity. So for those who do job occupation types that are sedentary in nature, where you sit a lot or you stand a lot, there's need to see the physiotherapist to help modify these activities. We call it ergonomics. The physiotherapist may go beyond just examining the individual to go into the home or going to the office to help, modify the setting, the chairs, and what have you. So it's very important to do the checks, even if the arthritis is not that serious. Once there is pain, once there is joint inflammation, once there is swelling, once there is limitation in range of motion, there's need to see the physiotherapist, and people can approach the physiotherapist on self-referral. You may not need to be sent by the general practitioner. You can just walk up to a physiotherapist for such checks.
Do you teach some of these movements and manipulations to your patients so that they can do them at home? Because it's my experience that I've seen some older adults, they have to have a visit from the physiotherapist, several times a week for certain conditions. So do you teach some of these things, and can they do them at home?
Yes, you raised a very vital aspect of the care, in the sense that patients or individuals have to come at times 2 times, 3 times to see the physiotherapist in a week. And so for many physiotherapists, education forms a key part of the treatment strategy. You have to educate not just the patient, but even the caregivers, those who live in the same home with the individual, to help to reinforce some of the treatment strategies that we adopt. And so this education is important. And in a lot of places, we do it in such a way that, especially in the rural communities, we do it in such a way that we may gather a number of patients and go to the community and then teach them some of these exercises. And then maybe once in a month or once in 2 weeks, we do checks, or they come to visit the clinic. So that is one aspect that physiotherapists really need to look into. That is happening, but we need to scale it up, especially in the rural areas where access to physiotherapy services, it's a problem.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a wrap. Thank you for coming on the show. We've had Ephraim Chukwuemeka, Assistant Director of Physiotherapy Services and Chairman, Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba. And also we've had with us here, Deputy Director of Physiotherapy at the National Orthopedic Hospital, Temilola Abolarin. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming on the show. And thank you for letting us into your home with this information and this wonderful discourse. Have a lovely day. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.